Love getting prices that are lower than low on food that's fresher than fresh? Then shop at Gerbs. We give you more ways to save on the fresh you love with tools like the Gerbs app, where you can find personalized coupons on top of weekly sales, giving you prices that are lower than the everyday low. Gerbs, fresh for everyone.
And now you'll find more ways to save on your favorites. When you download digital coupons, you can
Hey everybody.
5 times in one
Hey.
Gerbs, fresh for everyone.
So we're just getting ready to go here. A little bit different, a little something new, a little something special, I guess. So the deal is, I'm trying to learn Blender 3D. So that's what this episode is all about. And I've been doing this podcast with my buddy Mike for the last long time. And oh, sorry, we got these annoying ads in here. I've got to turn those off. And I always set these goals for myself to do a little bit of work in Blender to teach myself, but it's such a daunting task. So in order to help me do that, an hour before the Blender Noobs Show actually happens, I'm going to hop into Blender and do a little work. So I'm basically starting at square one. I'm going to try and model an Among Us character. I'm hoping that maybe we get some Blender people in the chat who know how to use Blender that can help me out. So here we go. We're going to do a general file, I guess. So I just opened up Blender. What version is this? 2.9, 2.90.1. You know, before I do this, I'm going to go to my old web browser. It looks like I'm using Bing here. So we got some news here going on at the front of Bing. Good to know. Okay. We've got political stuff, Hollywood, SpaceX, and celebs who have admitted to getting plastic surgery. That's great. But I'm looking for an Among Us character. And I should probably just use Google to help me find this. But that's what I'm going to model today. I'm just going to model a simple Among Us character. That's going to be my first real Blender model here. And away we go. Here's one right here. This one looks fine. All right, so we're going to save this image. Looks like it's a PNG, maybe. All right, let's save this. We'll just save it to my desktop because Among Us dude. Because we don't care. Okay, here we go. All right, let's crack open Blender again. Okay. Checkpoint Wife, thanks for doing an audio check for me. You are literally the best. All right, I'm thirsty. Okay. All right, my friend, so here we go. Here we go. Okay, so first things first, and anyone in the chat, I'm going to start doing more of these, teaching myself how to do Blender. I'm going to try and figure out some of the stuff I know in Maya, but definitely if you know Blender and you want to show me what's up, please do not hesitate. Do not hesitate to hop in and tell me what to do, because I don't know how anything works in Blender. Okay, so kind of wanted to mention in Discord that I'm live because I'm an extrovert. Am I though? No, not that one. Okay, let me check here real quick. Sorry, my friends. Perfect. Done and done. Okay, here we go. So I want to do an image plane. I've heard there are a few different ways to do image planes within Blender. And this was looking from a tutorial earlier. So I'm going to try and do this. So the goal here is I'm just going to hit general. So apparently I could do a general new file, 2D animation, sculpting, video effects, or video editing. So general, I'm assuming is that. So that I'm assuming is like okay, and now I have to remember to navigate. So middle mouse rolls you around. Middle mouse scroll wheel is okay, so it's pretty much all the middle mouse. Middle mouse rotates up and down, scrolls in and out. And how do I pan? How do I pan left and right? Anyone know? Shift maybe? Ah, shift. And I did something to my visuals. What if I delete the cube? Is it just gone? What if I need a new cube? Okay, so this is where things get dicey. Okay, I'm gonna right click, insert. How do I do them? A. Let's try A. No. Okay. Already I'm messed up. Okay. So I need to import an image plane. What's this little image button over here? View layer data combined. I don't know what that little image view layer properties. That doesn't help me out. Okay. Well, here I go. I'm already going to YouTube for help. Going to YouTube's for help. Okay, so Blender image plane. So we're gonna hear some audio here. Gary, you can just cut any of this out too. Okay, using reference images in Blender. Should we just leave this up for you guys? Do we want everyone to see the references I'm using? I'm sure you don't care. Bad hair don't care. It'll actually make me go faster if I use Chrome instead of the Bing or whatever. What is this, Bing? I don't know. Nope. Don't. I'm not gonna Bing. Okay, so if we look here in the YouTube results, we've got one right here. This is the one I was looking at before. How to import images as planes. Oh, it doesn't have the one I saw before. Interesting. Set up image planes in Blender 2.8. Okay, what? I want this one. It's a 2.8 reference, but I'm sure it doesn't matter. I like this one, so that's the one I'm going to grab. And I don't know why it won't show in my search results now, but my feelings are hurt. I'm just curious. I wonder if everyone can hear this. No. Yes, I think you can hear it. Okay. Yeah, so the audio does work. It just sounds weird. I don't know. Doesn't look like the audio really works for you guys. And that is a sad thing. I wonder if I can fix it in here. I mean, that's the thing. I'm not convinced. Let's see. I can hear it. I don't think you all can. Okay, I'm going to turn down the Harris Heller junk for a minute. This is the way we roll. Okay, so let's see. Let's see if this tells us how to do this.
Hey y'all, and welcome back to another episode of TZ Teaches.
What?
I'm Sir Pinkbeard, and in this video, I'm going to be talking about how to add in reference images to the 3D viewport so that you can make models faster.
This is not how the sound is supposed to be.
So actually adding in a reference image is actually pretty easy to do. There's just one question that you need to ask yourself.
Hold on a second. What if I speed it up? I could, so a couple things. I can speed it up or try and fix it. That is too funny. I'm laughing. Okay, so game capture. Let's try Elgato capture SD. Will this actually help the sound or mess it up? Okay. Oh, that is funny. Okay, so we're going to listen to weird audio playback. Let's set it up to 1.5.
The first type of reference image is one viewport, and you can view it from any angle, and it's really to when modeling specific things like hairstyles or other objects or muscles or anything like that.
Okay, hairstyle, muscles.
It's supposed to be used more of a help you build a base mesh or a base object. So you know I'm going to show you both. So let's start talking about which is just that reference model.
Just hurry and show me, dude.
So to add a reference image or the background image object, all you need to get the add menu up, go to image.
Wait, what did he do? The add menu? I think he said Control A. I think he said Control A. Control A. That is not the add menu. Or did he just say A? Now, how do you get up the add menu? That's all I want to know. Shift A? There it is. It's Shift A. So I couldn't hear him because he was sounding like this and blah, 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 blah. Because I'm getting weird capture audio. This, yeah, okay. So image, here we go. Shift A gets you your reference image. How you're supposed to ever know that or find that, I don't know. I have no idea. But I'm just going to take a look at. So Shift A will also add a mesh. I'm going to pay attention to this because this may be important. So plane, cube, circle, UV sphere, icosphere, cylinder, cone, torus. This is going to be helpful when I need to add meshes in just a minute because I deleted my cube, but at least I know Shift A will allow me to bring in all this stuff. Curves, surfaces, metaballs. What's a metaball? Text, I know what that is. A volume, not 100% sure what that is. It's like a trigger volume or just like a particle volume. A grease pencil, because we all need those when we 3D model. An armature, a lattice, empty. That's like a group, an empty group, I guess. An image, a light probe, camera, speakers. Okay, so we're gonna grab an image here. Okay, so let's go to our desktop. Among Us dude. Load reference image. Boom! We've already done something in what? It's crooked though. I do not. Wait a minute. What is this? Is it based on my camera? Oh, that's based. Is it based on this camera? What camera is that based on? That looks like Garbo. How do I go and adjust it? How do I adjust that image now? I hope someone's trying to talk to me to help me out here. I have no idea what to do now. Okay, let's pop up this. Maybe it will tell me how to
reference or background. Now the first, so let's go ahead and add one of those in. This reference image, what you can see is that it behaves like my scene. You can see in the outliner, it's labeled as the image type. Now I can treat this object so I can move it around, I can scale it, I can rotate.
Okay, so it's up here, this empty image. I'm just gonna rename it Among Us Dude, so I know. Among Us Dude. So that's what the name of this is up here. So if I double click that, no, that doesn't show me how to move it, right? Oh, what is this? Okay, that rotated it. This is why people don't want to use Blender. Shift A maybe? No, add, okay. I just want to, WE, okay, what? Okay, where is move tool? Okay, so I can move it back. And since view layer, scene, view layer, object. How do I look at the object in here? Camera? I don't know what that is. Rotate. Okay, what if I want this set like a You Blender fans, what is this hot garbo? 3D Mentor says this would be a lot easier in B- Blender. Not challenge. How are you doing, my friend? 3D Mentor, thanks for stopping by. Shout out for 3D Mentor. He's semi-cool. Do you know how to use Blender? Okay. What I love, in Maya, I would just hold down Shift and snap it to 90-degree angles. Blender doesn't like me, so I can't. However, that being said, look at that. That's kind of an angle. Where is just its attributes? Not challenge. I'm doing all right. How do I just open up this object's attributes? This image layer's attributes where I can just type in 90 degrees. Physics properties, objects constraint properties. What is this? Oh, look at this. Okay, wait. Where's the rotation? Where's the rotation on here? So we've got size. This is my image size. Look at that. Oh, I can scale. Whoa, I can scale it. That's great to know. I'm going to set it up to 10 meters. Okay, so if we go to move, I want it to be centered to origin, I guess. And I can't remember how to go, how to do a lot of stuff. Okay, at least I can kind of eyeball it, right? I can eyeball it. I'm going to put its feet up here. I can't remember how to go into orthographics. 3D Mentor says, are you using the industry hotkeys? What, my friend, are the industry hotkeys? Am I using the Maya hotkeys? No. I was advised not to take that crutch. So when you install Blender, you can actually have it set up to be like Maya hotkeys or 3D Studio Max hotkeys. I was advised not to, and I'm trying to learn vanilla Blender. I'm actually feeling pretty good for making it this far. I think I'm never going to use Maya again. 3D Mentor LOL says, everyone that uses it uses industry hotkeys. I don't know if that's true of 3D Mentor, which I think makes it navigate like Maya. I don't know if that's true. I don't know if everybody does. I mean, that's a pretty strong generalization. And I'd be curious, for any viewers watching here, do you use the industry buttons, presets? Or are you a transform? What is the transform? Oh, that one's cool. I like this one. It does it all. It does it all. Okay, so I think I'm still selecting size. That's why it's doing that. I'm not sure though. So, yeah. Look at that. Okay, this is cool. I wish I could hold shift and snap though. So I'm going to eyeball this and put it where I think is close enough. This, it doesn't have to be exact because I'm not using the exact, it's not an exact science here. And it's kind of straight up and down, right? I think 3D Mentor is getting a big kick out of this. Oh, I can stretch him. I don't want to stretch him. I'm going to scale him a little bit more. 15. And then we'll move him back out of the way. I am ignoring 3D Mentor. This is the 1 hour art stream. I've only got like 35 minutes left. It's killing me. So 3D Mentor, if you're not familiar with this very popular art show, it's probably the foremost podcast in Blender, in the Blender world. It's called the Blender Noobs Show. It's my buddy Mike and I get on and talk about Blender. And every week he does really cool things in Blender. He's been learning a lot about Blender, and I do absolutely jack squat. And so that is why I'm here today, hopping in Blender to actually do something. So here's the problem. Okay, Shift A, that's add. So I'm learning how to some of these hotboxes. Now I need to start with a mesh. And I don't know what to start with. I'm going to start with a cube. Not challenged. Thank you so much for the follow. You, my friend, are a gentleman and a scholar. Okay, do you know how to... Does anybody know how to go into... Okay, a couple things I'd like to do. This is so easy in... This is so easy in Maya. Oh, what should I do? A, I want to learn how to go into orthographic mode. B, I want to learn how to adjust the translucency on my object, essentially X-ray mode. I want to do an X-ray mode. What does this one do? Oh, X-ray mode. It worked. Okay. Okay. Now, somebody tell me how to subdivide this. 3D Mentor, thanks for the GGs. I'm making progress. This is actually more progress than when I just watched somebody. Okay. So what I'd love to do now is figure out how to subdivide this once. Subdivide it once, cut it in half, and then mirror it on the other side as an instance. Can you even do that in Blender? I know there's probably some really fast way to model this out. Hit the sub button equals sub D. Do you see a sub button? Oh, that sub button. Funny guy. Okay, here we go. Oh no, my computer's stalling out on me. Let's Google it. This is how we do things. This is how you do things in industry. How to subdivide in Blender. It's the first thing that comes up. Quick tip, Blender tip. So pay attention to this, my friends. How to subdivide in Blender 2.8, 2.79. Should be the same. It's going to sound a little weird.
Hello and welcome. 25 Games is here, and today how to subdivide edges of your 3D object.
I want a smooth subdivide, not just regular subdivide. I don't think you even know what I want to do.
Keep in mind the Blender 3D is still in the build on 2nd April. But now, it is in function and selection. Add more 3D and rise your polygon count. Always create a vertex in the oven.
Stop it. I wonder what. Let's try this again. Lost everything for a minute. Okay, now select subdivide. Okay, so the first technique you can use is hitting the W key while in edit mode. This will bring up the specials menu. Now select subdivide or subdivide smooth. Okay, here we go. Checkpoint wife says that. What is that voice? So that is a. That's a. How do I explain this? So OBS is not reading the audio right from my second computer, from my second PC. So to fix that, I would actually need to restart OBS, which would cancel my stream to have it go through right. But yeah, the audio. Wait! I just discovered something. So holding down shift and middle mouse dragging takes you to orthographic modes. Okay, so I said holding down W. So am I in edit mode? Object mode, edit mode. Okay, I am in edit mode now. Holding down W, I'm going to select my object. I think I'm selecting it. I'm going to select the whole object. I want the whole object. Edit mode, object. So this is object mode. Edit mode. I'm learning things here. So if I just, how do I go into face mode? There's subdivide. Subdivide selected edges. So that's not what I wanted. I want to go into object mode. I don't want to be in object mode. Okay. So I can't subdivide the entire object. 3D Mentor says I'm digging your block out. This is progress. This is progress. You don't even know 3D Mentor. You've been modeling in my. This is why people don't switch software packages. This is why you are not using Blender yet, unless you secretly already know how to use Blender and you'll show me up someday. But let's be honest, Blender is the way of the future. Okay. So I can't subdivide. I can't even do what I want. I want to just smooth subdivide this whole thing. Okay, we're going back into object edit mode, but it's selecting edges. I want it to select. Here it is. I found it. Faces. What's this one? Edges. And here's faces. I want to select them all. No, I don't want to do that. Select that face and that face. Now I have them all selected, right? Tell me I'm wrong. I want to subdivide. I want to smooth subdivide it though. Face contact bent. Look at that. It did not do what I wanted it to. It's subdivided, but it's so disappointed. This is just me yelling at this software. Is this entertainment? It's not even educational at this point. It's just me being frustrated. It is just an exercise in frustration. Here we go. Let's see. Holding down W again. It doesn't really matter. Oh, I lost him. Okay. Subdivide. Smooth subdivide. Where is it? I saw it. Now select subdivide or smooth subdivide smooth. Using the subdivide smooth option is essentially equivalent to mesh smooth in Maya. But where the heck is it? It says they've removed it. Previously, I could find that in the specials menu, but it seems that there is no option in 2.8. It appears that they have moved the subdivide smooth option in 2.0. However, it's always actually been a bit redundant as the subdivide tool has a smoothness slider. Wait a minute. I've got to take a momentary break. Hold on. Anonymous just gifted a sub. I've got to give you a thank you for that first. Okay, hold on. Anonymous gifter, I don't know who you are, but thank you so much for gifting a sub. That's pretty awesome. Lord Mumble says it's educational enough to give me a heads up for when I start to learn Blender. Lord Mumble, are you planning on learning Blender? Somebody tell me, so special, where's the special menu? So subdivide is supposed to have a smoothness slider. So let's do this. Let's subdivide. And where is the slider? Where is that? So cube 1, normal remesh. Where is the slider at? Where was the slider? Subdivide right here. Okay, we're going to click on this. Look at this. Okay, wait for it. Let's do a subdivision of 1. Whoa, it didn't smooth it real. Oh, it did. It did. We did it. We did it. We did it. Okay. I feel like this is major progress here. We figured it out. Oh, my head is blocking the dialogue. I apologize for that. Would it be better if I just removed myself altogether from the stream? Should we just go full audio mode instead? Okay, there we go. 61 sub D. So now we can show like the smoothest. We could go to 2. Well, that looks weird though. What kind of a shape is that? So that's smoothness. That's not even what I want. Create n-gons. No. I do not want n-gons. No n-gons, you weirdo. Fractal along normal. What happens now if I say no n-gons? What kind of a shape is that? When you smooth, it's supposed to go more round, right? Hold on. I need to take a 2-minute break. I've got to have a checkpoint chat with the checkpoint wife. Apparently I'm in trouble. I've done something wrong. I think she's upset with me.
I'm so upset.
she's burning up in anger. I'll be right back. Thank you so much, Anonymous Gifter. You made my day. You made my Blender day. 3D Mentor says yes to Engons. They are amazing. No Engons ever. So say we all. Okay, I'll be right back. Back in a checkpoint minute. All right, my friends. One Nick One, how are you doing, my friend? How are you doing? Okay, so what I'm seeing here is that this seems like a pretty normal, smooth situation, but if I subdivide again, it does weird things, and that makes me sad. So I'm just curious. Let's try and go into, let's try and do a little bit of molding here. Now, what if I told, why is this playing? Why is it being keyframed? What did I push that made it play? My animation slider. Just stop. Okay, I remember if I hold, was it Shift or Alt? I like Jones Soda. Thank you so much for the 18-month tier 1 sub. You, my friend, are literally the best. Lord Mumble says, can you increase the level of subdiv? I can, but it made that really weird shape. Do you remember that? Okay, let's get back around. This is awesome. I hope this is entertaining for everybody. Okay, so one thing I'm noticing, my image is off. I don't care. Bad hair, don't care. Actually, I'm going to grab the whole thing. I'm going to go into move mode. Let's see. Let's see if we can at least start shaping this like the character, right? I want to hear, no, that is not doing what I want. No, that is not even remotely what I want. Okay, why can't, this is supposed to select, there we go, multiple. And why is the pivot off? Okay, scale. Why is the pivot off? That's dirty. I am not. I'm confused. What? Stop. Stop. Okay, it got messed up somehow. Okay. I like Jones Soda. How are you doing, buddy? I'm gonna go into object mode and try and grab my image plane and try and straighten it out a little bit. Okay, let's go back into edit mode now. This is a slow process. One Nick one. I am doing okay. I'm trying to learn some Blender. So if you are a Blender expert and you want to help me figure out how to model a Among Us character, I would love that. I actually did a 30-minute modeling. It's going to go up on my YouTube, actually, I think Monday. But I modeled one of this same character in Maya, and it took me, what, 20 minutes? Maybe add some loop cuts. I hear you, but I want to get the overall shape correct before I start adding cuts. I like Jones Soda says, I'm doing great. I fixed my bathtub tonight, and I'm now watching you with the kids. Hey, I like Jones Soda's kids. How are you doing? And what was wrong with your bathtub, if you don't mind me asking? Is that a personal question, or? Okay, we're going into scale mode. Now it's, okay, the pivot's correct now. Okay, what if I scale? Okay, see this? We're starting to get the shape we need. We're starting to get the shape. Okay, let's go to our move tool. We will move it up. It's so much easier in Maya. But we're at least getting a shape down. I'm going to go back to my scale tool. Flatten the tippy top of his head out a little bit. I wish these hotkeys worked, but I did not take 3D Mentor's advice, or I probably could have. I like the marquee tool. I like the little lasso marquee tool. That's kind of nice. Okay, if I go into scale, what I want to make sure is that this scales uniformly, which it does not scale uniformly. So that would be this. No, not that one. The middle one? No. No! That means you didn't scale uniformly for me either, did you? Nope. Nope, nope, nope. Okay, let's try this again. How do I get this to scale uniformly? I want it to, there we go. You got to grab the little plane. Okay. Stop. Space bar. Okay. So you got to grab the little plane here to do what you want it to do. And that works. Okay. So we're starting to figure this out. Slowly but surely. Okay. This is making a little bit more sense. Okay, the spout had been broken for a couple of years. Finally got around to fixing it. I am proud of you, Mr. Soda. Proud of you. So the spout spouts now. It works. The kids can take baths. They haven't taken a bath in a couple of years, and now they can. One Nick one says, because how I would do it, I would add loop cuts on the two ends, shade, smooth, and extrude faces before the loop you made, but that's just me. I hear what you're saying. And that's what eventually we'll get to that. Okay, so this, he kind of makes it like an A shape, I believe. So this is the wrong shape here. So I think what I need to do is actually, so I agree with you, Nick. I'm not arguing that you know your stuff, and I have no doubt that that's the way it should be done. But what I'm trying to do is I want to get the major shape down before I go silly with more edge loops. And so while it's true, I am a total noob at Blender. I am no slouch. I am fairly experienced at 3D modeling. I'm not gonna lie. Okay, so I want him to kind of be chubby down at the bottom. So this is interesting. So that now it selects them all. Okay, so that is kind of the look I'm going for. I'm actually going to grab this bottom one, this bottom guy, and move it up. I need to learn the hotkeys so I can do this faster. I'm actually starting to kind of figure it out a little bit. Kind of proud of myself. See, that looks terrible. This looks horrible, actually. That's bad. That's ugly. It's got some ugliness to it. I'm not going to lie. Oh, I'm not excited about this, but you know, just out of curiosity's sake, I am going to, this is what we're going to do. I'm going to grab in face mode again, just to check this out. Okay, so we got it all selected, and just for fun, we're going to subdivide again. Boom. Look at that, it looks like a potato now. Oh, it just looks not good. Some of those ones I made were not great. So it still kept it smooth of one number of cuts. I just want to see what happens. It's a terrible potato. Not at all what I want. Not at all what I want. I'm kind of upset. Oh, okay. This is helpful. Where are the subdivision modifiers? I like you already, Nick 1. Where are the modifiers? This did not, it did not smooth, in my opinion, accurately before. I actually think, here's my question. If I start out with just a, let's see, what do I do? Hold down A. I'm gonna go into object mode. And I don't know how that moved around. I'm just gonna add a, how did I do that before? Control, click. How did I add an object? Control A, right? No, not Control A. Shade smooth, shade flat, copy paste. How did I add an object? Okay, maybe I don't. Okay, so on the left hand side, you have a blue wrench. Click that and click the modifier. Where's the blue wrench? Is that in edit mode? The blue wrench. On the right hand side, you said. Right, not left. Shift A. Oh, Shift A adds a cube. So that's my question. So now this cube here, this little cube fella, if I were to subdivide that, look at that. It's not even a... Why is it like a stretched? So the idea is it should be more of a circle, right? That is not a circle. It's more like a diamond. So why does Blender smooth things so weirdly? Is that a modifier? So let's look for that wrench. That blue wrench that Nick 1 was, there it is, blue wrench. Add a modifier. Vertex, so modifiers. Sounds like modifiers. Deform, armature, hook, displace. Shrink wrap, smooth. So I added a smooth modifier. What does that do? Let's do a factor of 1. I don't know what it does. Huh. Let's grab that. Let's grab the object. So I've selected the object. We've got a smooth fire modifier. Let's try 3. Oh, look at that. It modified all of them, though. Interesting. Okay. This is weird, and I don't get it. No, sir, I do not get it. And why does it grab both of them? So that rounded it out a little bit more? Kind of. That actually looks more correct, doesn't it? Like, that's more of what I would expect from smooth. Shift A, no subdivision surface. Okay, so what if I did this? I'm gonna delete it. Okay, let's click. Let's create a new cube. This is starting. Oh, I'll stop it. Just stop it. That whole shift thing. Okay, let's scale this more to what I was thinking. Okay, so this is more the overall shape of the character. Okay, and this is like as far as we got. This is the sad part. So, okay, let's go back to scale mode. Roughly. Okay, so it modifies all of it because you added the object in the edit mode of the object you selected, so you technically linked them. Nick1, how long have you been working in Blender? You seem to be pretty adept. Okay, I'm going to go into edit mode. Not face mode. I'm going to go into this one and not hit space because that is lame. Okay. Oh, look at that. This is hot garbage. This is hot garbage. Okay, I want to select all of you. I want to scale again. You've been using Blender for a year. Is that are you only using Blender, or are you familiar with like Maya? Have you used any other software, or is it just Blender? Okay, so technically, this should get me more similarly to where I was. So I'm just curious, if I go into object mode, and we add a modifier, we're gonna add a smooth modifier. It didn't do anything, it actually just shrunk the whole thing down, right? It looks like it shrunk my model down. So if we gave that a modifier of 2, it shrinks down even lower. What? It like inverted it. What is going on? I don't understand it. Okay, so now I don't understand why it seems like there should be a subdivision per object, but you can't. You actually have to subdivide it per faces. Can we delete it? Okay, so we can delete a modifier. No, only Blender. I can't afford that stuff. You know, if you're a student, you can get Maya for free. I'm just saying. They have a student version that is totally free. Unless you're working on something commercial, then I understand the Blender. That's part of the reason I want to learn Blender, is because it is free and it's powerful and it's becoming more and more popular. Okay, add a subdivision surface modifier. So is that different than this one? So a deform modify, is it under this one? Nick. Yeah, so do you have a .edu email address? Okay, subdivision surface right here. Okay, but now it has that weird pointy top on it. So isn't that part of the problem? Simple. A Catmull Clark. Levels viewport. I'm just curious. I want to find out what some of this stuff does. Okay, so that added another layer. Why is it so pointy at its poles, though? I don't get it. Render. 1 or 2. Optimal display. All right. Can you do a subdivision proxy? See, that doesn't look too bad, actually. Other than that's not what I want. Other than the fact that it's not what I want. Okay, we're going to go back into edit mode. In about 5 minutes, we're going to start the Blender Noobs Show, and I'm going to show off... Oh, look at that! It is a proxy now. Right! So now I can add a loop to this, right? So if I go... Okay, now we're cooking with gas. So now I could grab this, right, and add subdivision? Just one, right? What? That is ugly. How do I add a loop? How do I add a loop to it? A loop cut, that's what I meant. How do I add a loop cut? Professor Zagal, how are you doing, my friend? Why are you working? I'm learning Blender. I'm learning something new, Professor Zagal. I am a fish out of water right now. Control-Shift-R. Control-Shift-R, because I should have known that, right? Oh snap. Okay, so that is on the wrong angle though. So I get it. So now I want to try selecting this edge. Nick1, thank you so much for the follow. Control-Shift-R. So this should build it this way though, right? Why did that not work? Oh, I built one and it's ugly now. Okay, I don't want that. Stop. Control Shift R. There. Now, no. Control Shift R. There we go. Why doesn't it loop all the way across though? Why is it like a chamfered one? I want it to loop all the way. I just want it to loop around the side. Why does Blender have to be so difficult? Okay, let's grab that. It's got a loop, cut, and slide. There we go. Hello. Ah, yeah. Okay, so that's it. That's what I wanted. Forward progress, forward progress. Okay, so now we can actually start adjusting the shape of our little character here. Okay, great, 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 great. It is weird. Things are weird at the Circle K. Okay, we want to do that. See how it looks in the front view. Stop hitting spacebar. I've got to get out of that mindset of using spacebar. Okay, so now if I want to, so technically if I grab this, should do the whole thing. So I want to really play with the shapes here, right? So I'm looking at the overall shape. I think you know what? This may seem like I didn't do very much today, but actually, I feel like I've made a lot of progress. I feel like I've actually learned something in Blender, and I'm kind of excited about it. Let's grab these ones and move him. Oh, nope, 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 no, not that far, dude. Up a little bit and scale. I need to learn the hotkeys for scale. Move that in. Okay, how are you looking? Don't do that. So it's a little bit more of the shape I'm looking for, actually. So this is closer than I got before. There's also a manual option on the left. Click O for proportional editing. Oh, really? So if I select this and hit O. Oh, I don't know. I don't think it worked for me. I don't think it worked. I do like this modifier though, so I can chub him out a little bit. It's getting there. It's getting closer to what I want. And I'll tell you what I want, what I really, really want. A zig ah. Okay, and then I'm gonna do another loop cut down the middle so I can cut him in half. But this is a start. Okay, so I've gotta get my buddy on the line. So everyone hold tight. This is as far as I get with this section of this me trying to learn Blender. So this is part one of me learning Blender and trying to model an Among Us character. A light scale hotkey, yes. The only thing I need is one Nick 1. I need you to be here every single time to tell me all what to do. Can you promise me you can do that? You followed me. That means you'll know whenever I go live. So you have to be here. Okay, so I'm gonna Melting Face 3D. Thank you for the follow. I've got to grab Melting Face. Melting Face, are you ready to party? Okay, I will be right back. I'm gonna grab Melting Face. We're gonna start the Blender Noobs podcast. It's like 2 a.m. You must be somewhere else. Okay, let me grab my buddy. Okay, so Mike, they can hear you.
Okay.
And they can hear me.
Okay.
And they can hear buddy. I had to do a third rhyme. We haven't started the show yet. But here's the deal. Everybody, welcome to the Blender Noobs Show. I'm going to get rid of the be right back. But here's the deal. I have been streaming for an hour and drinking a few bottles of water. So...
Oh man, you were about to say beer, and I would have been like, "What?"
What I'm trying to say is there are certain biological needs that must be taken care of.
Okay.
I have to pee, Mike.
Yep.
Okay. So the cool thing is you're here, so you can keep everyone entertained.
Sure. Yeah. That sounds good.
So I don't even have to say "be right back." You are now in charge of the stream.
Perfect. All right. Well, can everyone hear me? It's like one Nick one.
One Nick one is one. So one Nick one. Before I go, he's my new favorite person. So he's a high school student at some far off location where it is currently 2 a.m. And I don't know if it's a he or a she. They've been helping me quite a bit in Blender today. So
cool.
That's called the MVP award.
Perfect.
Okay, I'll be right back.
Cool. Okay, cool. So one Nick one. Thanks for joining. So how is Gabe doing with the Blender? Have you been helping him out? Ireland. That is awesome. So have you been just messing around with Blender, or something that you've been wanting to get into, or have you been using it for a long time? What's your experience with Blender? Well, while you type that up, Gabe and I have been friends for a long time, since 2004, 2005. So it's been a while. Gabe is, he's a teacher. He's the checkpoint professor. And I've been kind of teaching him. I mean, I want to go into a game company one day, so that would be cool. Do you want to see my work? Yeah, I think that'd be fun to see your work. Do you have like a website or like an art station that we could check out and chat? Yeah, like if you do, that'd be awesome. When Gabe gets back, we can see how that would work. But yeah, we would love to check it out, maybe give you some critique. So I think he's about to hop on back. My Instagram. Okay, let's
And we're back.
Cool. Well, let's real quick, Gabe, check out chat.
Okay. Mike is muted. Never mind. I can hear now. I'm from Ireland. Oh, cool. I mean, I want to go into a game company one day, so that would be cool. Do you want to see my work? I'd love to see your work. Should we actually show... let me hop this up. Let me pop up Instagram.
That's what I'm doing right now, too. I'm just 3D Blender artist. Nice. Yeah, we got very stylized characters. Got some avatar going on. Got some weapons. Yeah, you've been using Blender for a while.
Here we go.
Oh man, you're gonna love my project. You're doing a Game Boy, or at least you did a Game Boy.
I'm gonna log into the checkpoint professor here. Here we go.
Yeah, if you want to share this work, maybe we can start the show off maybe with some introductions, and then I think this would be really cool to check out some of the work.
Let's do it. Let's kick off. So I've got Nick's work up here. That's great. So Nick, Nick is our first official Blender guest actually on the show. So this is kind of cool. So I don't think Nick knew what he was getting into when he started chatting with us today. But Nick, I don't mean to brag, but Mike and I, we're pretty famous among the Blender, the Blender circuit.
Oh, yeah.
We're making.
If I say this by not at all, then absolutely not.
You know what? We're making waves. We're making waves. Splashing. Okay. So let me. Here we're gonna do. I'm just to make this more official. I'm gonna set up the old Blender splash screen from behind us before we check out Nick's stuff.
Okay.
Okay. So welcome to the Blender Noobs Show. Which episode is this?
I don't. You know what? We'll call it. I think it's officially like 6 or 7.
Wow. Okay. So we've been around for a while. No. So
yeah.
So what this started out as, sorry to cut you off, Mike. Mike and I are good friends from a long time past. We studied got our undergrad degrees together at the Art Institute of Portland. Mike went off to be a very successful 3D artist / production manager. I should let you introduce yourself. While I went more into games, but those paths converge quite nicely in that we both work a lot in 3D. We both worked in different software packages. I spent most of my career in Maya and just a tiny bit of 3D Studio Max. I have been in the games industry for almost 10 years and in education now for nearly 10 years as well, teaching 3D.
Oh, man.
And this whole time I've been wanting to learn Blender and I never have. And so I got a hold of Mike and we made a pact, a blood oath to learn Blender together, of which Mike has been very successful at, and I have been an utter slacker. So welcome to the Blender Noob Show, where we talk about Blender once a week, and we keep ourselves on task in learning Blender. So Mike, why don't you introduce yourself?
Yeah, so Gabe, you did a great job there. My name's Mike, also known as Melting Face 3D. I've been in the e-learning industry for over a decade, where I'm a art manager of several artists, and we make 3D industrial training as well as actually other training. And then we make virtual simulations, we make 360 videos, we do all sorts of really crazy stuff. So I've been in that space for a long time, and my proficiency was in Max. But on the side, I'm doing ZBrush, I'm doing characters and all that kind of stuff just for my own, skill set. But then once Blender 2.8 kind of came along, it got into my radar along with a lot of other people's, and so I've taken it upon myself to learn some Blender, and it's been a lot of fun. And I've done a few projects now, and I'll show off the final result of one project today, and then I'll throw a sneak peek into my next project, my next Blender project, and then we'll go from there.
Nice. Okay, I just wanted to share our Blender Noobs channel really quick.
Sure.
So one of the things Mike and I do is, like I said, once a week we meet up and we talk about Blender and we show off some projects we're working on. And then the podcast, the idea is each one of those will go up on YouTube. We have our own channel there. It's the Blender Noobs. I think the Blender Noobs Show, or just the Blender Noobs at YouTube. The link is right there for anyone who wants to see it. If you're watching this on YouTube, the link will be down below. But I'm probably the most excited about this episode, Mike.
Me too, because I feel like we're finally getting some momentum going with our projects and some learning. I know that I've learned a ton this week. I'm sure I'll be able to share some of it, show off some of it. Yeah, we'll get it rocking.
That's awesome. No, I'm excited because Mike and I have made assignments for ourselves each week that we've been doing this, and we're all kind of busy, right? So I'm busy with my family and full-time work at the university, and so it's been difficult. But this week I decided today, I was like, oh no, Mike and I are meeting for the Blender Noob Show tonight. I will just schedule an hour before the session and actually just go live and start learning what I was supposed to be learning. And I didn't get very far, Mike, but you know what? I did something, and I'm excited to talk about it today. And so that's one of the things I'm going to continue doing is actually setting up a live stream, because that gives me incentive and kind of forces me to focus on learning something. So it's a helpful tool, and just like this is supposed to be. So,
Absolutely. Well, I mean, you are the checkpoint professor. Did you get a chance to look at Nick's work? Should we
let's look
maybe?
at it together. So I've got it up. Here, let me get it up on Instagram. So we were just talking to one of the followers who just came into my chat while I was going over some exercises before Mike and I talked. And it was someone named Nick. I believe they live in Ireland, and has been very helpful in giving me a lot of pointers as I'm trying to navigate the landscape of Blender. And Nick is officially our first guest on the Blender Noobs Show. They shared their Instagram account, and we're going to check out some of their 3D art. So this is the 3D Blender artist here. Hopefully they don't mind. If you do mind, Nick, just tell us to stop.
Yeah.
But we're excited to check out your work, and it'll be up on YouTube. So here we go. So I'm going to hide the splash screen here on OBS. And there we go. So I love it. So let's click through some of this. Mike, you're going to be on a little bit of a lag. Apologize.
Yep, I'm about 15 seconds behind, but
Yeah.
I do also have it up. So, like, if you're talking about it,
You know what? I think what I'll actually do is wait till I see it on the Twitch, and then we talk about it. So this is this is Nick's site. I'm going to click on. I'm going to click through them here. So this first one is Adventure Time. So this was all done in 3D. It looks very 2D. That's impressive.
yeah. What's really cool about Blender, and there's been some tutorials on it, is like the Studio Ghibli style, but essentially it's the you know, very like graphic style that people have been doing, and I think Nick did a really good job setting up this little scene here. It's pretty cool. Very uh, uh, yeah, I guess cartoony,
Yeah.
but like very like big bold colors, which I like. And then he nailed the logo, which is good.
Kind of a fun story. Back when Mike and I were at students at the Art Institute of Portland for our undergrad degrees, a long time ago, the Adventure Time pilot episode came out long before the cartoon was actually greenlit. Do you remember that?
Oh yeah, I do, and that actually was that was pretty popular.
Yeah, algebraic, as I remember.
Yes, I loved that. I just the metalness and like, cause there was like it was just silly. It was just
Yep.
super silly.
And they kept it up. It was awesome. So I'm scrolling through his work here. Very cool. Nick, if you have any comments too in the chat, I will read them to the group, because the chat won't be visible when we post this on YouTube. But this is cool. This is like a weapon, a hammer, a combat hammer. Sculpt. So it's just using the sculpting tools in Blender.
Yeah, got a lot of anime situation going on here. A lot
Yeah.
of, you know, cartoony stuff. What I think one of the pieces that I like the most actually is this futuristic scene made in with the one with like the bike, and it's like an alley,
Oh yeah.
like Japanese. I think Nick, I think you did a great job with like some of the mood, and one of the things that a lot of starting artists don't do is they have a hard time playing with color, and you definitely don't have a problem with that. So it definitely helps set a mood, and I think that's really cool.
Yep.
And I mean, you're using a lot of tools here. I can see bump maps. You know, you're definitely trying to do some storytelling. One of the things that I would definitely encourage you to do, Nick, is just pay attention to the scale of your textures, because there are some areas which are pretty spot on, like the ground, whereas the brick on the left, I think is actually the bump looks inverted, or but the bricks seem really huge compared to what they would be normally. Like I think on the right you have the scale correct with, I think it's like wood paneling, but just pay attention to that stuff, because that can kind of throw off the the scene, considering this is a more realistic scene than what your other pieces are.
Yeah, one of the things that I like about your work, though, is you definitely treat the canvas as more of like a painting than a typical 3D where you're just working on an asset or something like that. You're thinking about the whole piece as the flow and the art form. So very cool. I can see a lot of potential here. I would just like to point out this one right here. This is the spitting image of one of my co-faculty at the University of Utah. This is Dr. Roger Altizer. I just had to say that.
That's funny.
This little redheaded guy. But this is also... Oh, you've got a little Among Us section here too. So you have made some Among Us characters as well, which is what I was trying to pull off today. Oh, I love this one. This little mushroom one. This one has a really good feel to it. I love like the simple shapes. The repeating little mushroom characters. Very nice. Okay, and was the alleyway scene the one down with the hanging light lamps, the Chinese lamps?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that one. I was looking at the motorcycle one earlier. This one does have a much more successful composition for sure. Awesome, very cool. Well, Nick, I am definitely going to give you a follow on Instagram. We'll share your Instagram in the chat. This is a future game developer working in Blender 3D, and very nice work.
Yeah, keep it up, especially since you're just in high school. Keep on just doing the work. I can see the progress with your skills, and you're just doing it, which is like that's like 80% of it. It's just continual improvement, which I think is really good. And just keep on expressing yourself, keep on doing what you love to do, and you'll get there.
Very cool. So, Mike, what is going on in the world of Blender these days? What has happened in the last couple weeks since we've talked?
Well, the show is called the Blender Noobs Show for a reason, because there's a lot of things that now that I'm subscribed to Blender News, I'm like, oh, I didn't even know about that. One of the interesting things that I learned is, that like when game studios or film studios, they tend to use a single version of a program like Max or Maya, like Maya 2018 or Maya 2016 for a number of years, because they've built tools to work with that so that they can get it into the game pipeline and not have any problems. Like they don't typically upgrade to Maya 2017 or 20 or like as the years go on,
right? Because
there's a chance that it will break all the tools.
Right.
Blender does the same thing actually. They have what's called so they have long-term versions like of Blender, so that game studios or longer term projects or film studios, they still get updates or they get bug fixes to a version of Blender that Blender has chosen to make their long-term version, which will go through a multiple year cycle, and then they'll choose another version to go through multiple years, where they'll make sure that it gets continuous bug fixes, but it doesn't get continuous features.
Right. So it's more of a hot fix type of build, right?
Yeah. So that's Blender 2.83, and they call it LT, long term.
Oh, interesting. Okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah. So I think that was pretty cool, and it's something that I just recently learned about. So wanted to give I don't know, just there's that. And so like if you want to have a project and you want to just stick with one version of Blender and not go from because they come out with a new version every few months, it seems like 2.91, 2.92, 2.93 with great awesome features, just lots of cool things. But if you want to just definitely stick to those longer term projects so that you can have a more stable version, then like that's the way to go.
Right. So that's pretty common. I was hoping to hear that they had found some amazing way to avoid that whole typical versioning issue that all companies have, right? So even game companies work on a specific version of Unreal, whatever they started the project on, they're typically use that unless there's some huge feature they need to upgrade. Or even like at most companies, like you said, they'll usually be a year behind on like Maya or 3D Studio Max, because usually it takes that long to make sure that all their tools work again with the new version before they make the switch company-wide, right?
Yeah, and we run into the same issue because we have some built-in tools that we have to, have one person, once we are actually ready to upgrade, it's not just, so like it's not just versions like of the software, but like if you're using a certain rendering software, that also has to work with that new version, and you may have tools that go along with that. So it can take a while to upgrade, especially if you have like a big studio where there's 20, 30, 40 people that use that version.
Right.
It's kind of a nightmare, especially just making sure everyone upgrades, things work. I mean, we have a small, like 8-man team, and that still takes a while to get everyone on the same version and their tools working, and like our tools working for our rendering pipeline. So
awesome.
Yeah.
So little bit of advice if you're looking for less crashy and buggy Blender, the LTS, the most recent version of LTS may be the way to go, which I don't think I am, but I'm kind of throwing caution to the wind, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, it's something I didn't know about, but I'm currently on version 2.91, and it's pretty stable and it's doing good. I have not upgraded to 2.92. I'll probably stick with 2.91 for a while. I like that. Like I just saw the checkpoint wife come in, has entered the chat.
Yep.
So yeah, and let me think. What has really surprised me a lot, and I guess it doesn't come to a surprise or not, but the more I use Blender, the more exciting it gets because of the open source nature of Blender. There are a ton of freaking amazing tools that people build that I wish were in other packages, and they get upgraded all the time. Plus, they're just kind of, I don't know, they're really, really powerful. And like, I know that there's lots of open source tools for other programs, but there's just a ton of add-ons that Blender comes with, that like vanilla Blender just comes with, that you can just enable and make your life way easier. But there's also tons that people make that are really inexpensive and really make Blender even more powerful. It's pretty crazy. There's a lot of support for like render for like Blender cycles. There's been more there's been a couple of crowdfunding campaigns for some other like for some other rendering that's like some like rendering add-ons that can do distributed rendering, which is something that is really cool, especially nowadays with the new like RTX cards and the new like AMD cards that make distributed rendering super duper fast. So I think it's really, really cool.
No, that's awesome. So kind of funny, Nick just asked in the chat, are you guys going to model, by the way? And the easy answer is no. However, in just a few minutes, I'm going to show off what I've been working on, and then Mike is going to show off the Blender project. So we're going to be talking about modeling in just a little bit. So if you're new to the format, just to give you a little teaser, about a third of the show is just Mike and I just chatting about recent Blender Noobs. Blender news, no, noobs. We're the noobs. We're talking about the recent Blender news, and then we're going to each jump into the modeling project that we've been working on for the past week. But this isn't this isn't the typical creative Twitch stream where we sit down and model for several hours. This is more of a podcast format. So if it's not your flavor, I apologize. We're just two noobs doing the best we can.
That's true, and we try and share some interesting things that we've learned over the last week or so. We'll talk about like this new thing that just happened with like Nick sharing his work. That's awesome. Love seeing other people's work and give some critique if they want it. So it's definitely we're going to do some modeling and some sharing of information with each other, but I think we're both hoping to have more model streaming between the two of us.
Yep.
And then come together and kind of tackle some of the challenges that we're facing, or just make fun of each other's work as we go along.
Yeah, and we're not opposed. I think if you're watching this between now and eternity, and you want to hop on the show and show off some of the tips or tricks or something, if you want to be a guest, just message us and let us know.
Absolutely.
All right, so should we kick it off to the show and tell portion?
Yeah, let's do it.
So I should probably go first, otherwise I will feel completely inadequate if you do.
Sure.
And I will go hide under a rock because I know the Michael way.
Well, okay.
Okay, no, so this is kind of fun. Nick says, can I collab with you guys, by the way, a modeling project? You definitely can. So the way we've kind of done it is we've kind of set our own goals and projects for the week. So I wouldn't mind. Mike, I actually wouldn't mind for those fans who want to kind of create a little project or challenge each week. And they could always show us like a screenshot. We could take a few seconds to kind of show off part of the Blender Noob community work, I guess. So yeah, totally cool. So I'll kick it off here. I've actually got Blender open here, and then we'll share a full screen for Mike in a minute. But my goal for the last month has been to model an Among Us character. And I kind of talked on my stream earlier about how I actually did one in Maya in about, it takes me about 20 minutes to build something like this in Maya because I've been using it for the better part of 20 years, Maya. But I'm having a really hard time with Blender. And I actually feel like I made some strides. So I had this goal. I had an hour to do this. I was pulling up YouTube videos. And I was going to be happy if I just got a reference image in. And I made it a little bit further. My biggest issue I'm having right now is I did get kind of a subdivision proxy box here, which I was pretty happy with. I got X-ray mode working on my object. I was able to add an edge loop and actually adjust it. There is a little bit of a learning curve. Blender is such a technical software, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to ask you and anyone watching right now, one of my fellow faculty hopped in who admittedly doesn't use Blender, but if you know 3D Mentor, he knows everything about everything, if you know what I mean. And so he informed me that everybody that uses 3D Mentor uses like the industry preset hotkeys, like the Maya hotkeys. And I just want to ask the community, is that true? Do you use the Maya presets, or do you use the vanilla Blender presets? I was told I was doing it wrong, basically.
So I guess since I didn't even come from Maya, I came from Max. I actually scrapped it all together and went with the Blender hotkeys and then started creating my own. What's really cool though too is that a lot of Blender add-ons come with their own hotkeys, so I've also been learning those, and so it really becomes something completely different and like your own essentially with Blender, because it's so easy to customize.
Yeah.
That really Blender should be whatever is easiest for you to do.
Right.
But if you need to start out with a base of Maya, then for sure. But there are so many different other tools that are different from Maya that it's just, it's going to change. It's going to change eventually. Like there is not like a one-to-one with a lot of stuff. So, especially with some of the things I can show you today.
That's awesome. So I'm going to make a comment here really quick. So the reason why I'm not using any of the Maya presets for Blender is because I remember. Do you remember because Mike and I went to the same school. Do you remember we learned Maya, right? And where we went to school was primarily Maya was the software of choice. It was the one we used. It wasn't free then. We all had our pirated copies, blah, blah, blah. But I remember there was one class. There was one low poly 3D modeling class where everybody had to use 3D Studio Max. Yep. And I remember right off the bat, the teacher in that class taught everyone how to adjust the space bar to flip between the orthographics. And you could program your hotkeys to be more like Maya. Inevitably, you would leave school and come back to a different computer each time, and you'd have to do that again. And that just seemed like the biggest pain in the butt. And I remember with 3D Studio Max, the first couple of classes, I wanted to punch the screen and throw it against the wall. But after a couple of weeks, you got used to it, right? And that's the way I kind of look at Blender, and at least that's the approach I'm going to take. And maybe it's not the right one to take, but I don't want to sit down to another Blender somewhere else or on my laptop and say, oh, I forgot all my presets, and I can't add those on here. So I'm kind of, even in Maya, I'm kind of that's the way I roll. I've always rolled. Is I don't add any presets. I don't set my own hotkeys. I just go with the vanilla program, and I learn how to use whatever hotkeys come native with it. Because you never know when you'll have to sit down at someone else's desk, or you might go to an interview and they want you to sit down, or maybe you're traveling for your company and you have to sit down and show a teacher, mentor, a group of workers somewhere else. And honestly, I've heard this horror story all the time where someone sits down and they've used Maya their whole life, but they're used to their preferences, and they sit down and they're like, I have no idea what to do. And you're supposed to be the senior, artist teaching people. So anyway, that's my own story. It's my own personal hangups. I would love to hear other people's opinions. I know people really are dependent on their hotkeys, but that's going to be my approach. And it's going to make me struggle a lot harder at the beginning, like I did today. I'm going to share my Among Us character in Blender #1, teaching myself how to use Blender, and it's going to be ugly, but I'm hoping to continue this so I can show step by step. But this is as far as I got today, and I'm actually pretty thrilled with it.
Cool. Good job.
Anyway, rant over. So someone said, what are you guys' workflow for making like your hand, for example, Mike?
Well, for me, I've not made a hand yet in Blender, but if I were to make a hand Blender, it would probably be using the sculpting tools, because I'm a big ZBrush user. And so I would probably actually start out with blocking it out with some primitives within the sculpting tools. And then I know that Blender has like a remesher, especially with the newer versions of Blender, the sculpting tools were improved quite a bit. So I would do low-ish, pretty low poly, blocking it out with the sculpting tools. But if you don't want to use the sculpting tools, I think the best option would be to kind of box model it and then kind of do what the prox model that Gabe's doing, and to start actually blocking it out. But really, it'd be the sculpting tools. Do you guys use Don Topo? I think that's actually like a sculpting tool in Blender. And again, we're going to get into that for sure, not today, but the sculpting features. But like I use Dynamesh and ZBrush, which is pretty much the exact same thing in Blender, where you can take two primitives, you can Dynamesh it, Dynatopo it, and then it joins them together into one mesh while also remeshing them together, which is how I guess I would start that hand model if I were to do it in Blender.
Yeah, kind of the same boat. I would start with a pretty. I like to get the shape and the forms in as far as humanly possible at the low poly stage before I even start sculpting. Some people that are more familiar with the sculpting and are able to easily start with ZBrush. But I'm more of a traditionalist in that way. I like to really start low poly first.
Yeah. Yep.
Very cool. Very cool.
All right. Gabe, well, what did you get? So you got yourself a start.
Okay.
What were you struggling with? You were saying like getting in like
So
digital-
yeah, it was the navigation, right? And so I was having issues with the so in Blender you can subdivide, and then you have sliders and modifiers when you subdivide, and then you can subdivide smooth. Apparently that's hidden somewhere. But then you also have all the modifiers. So Nick was showing me like the little wrench on the side where you can add modifiers to your objects. And so those are actually, so it seems like I didn't make it very far, but actually, because I struggled with it, I won't forget where those things are now.
Yeah.
But so for me, is really, I know you and I, like 2 months ago, kind of went through a bunch of steps in the process, and we learned how to navigate and all that stuff, but I had completely forgotten it, right? So now just the absolute basics of how to get a reference image in, how to rotate it, position it, how to start creating meshes, and how to start messing with them. Because, you know, I know what to do, I just don't know how to do it. So this is a really good learning process for me to like jump around, figure out where the tools are and how they work, because they actually work a little more differently than Maya.
They do. Cool. Well, did you have any specific like how-to questions, or are you just going to kind of continue to just go at it like in like a different stream?
So I'm going to continue to go at it, and I think part of the reason is because I want to document my struggles. And so I think whenever I go to work, I'm going to have it on stream. Like I could ask some how-to stuff, but honestly, the way I work is I'm a visual, like in the moment learner. So someone could tell me what to do right now, and unless I was actually putting that into practice, I would have a hard time remembering it. So, you know, in between now and then, I'll watch some YouTube tutorials, and so that I can use that as a reference, so I can remember kind of where to find the information when I need it. But I'm excited. So the next step, you know, is making some more some more cuts in my mesh. So the question is whether I'm just going to use extrusions to like pull out the legs and the backpack, or if I bring those up as separate objects like I would normally in Maya. But I'll probably end up blocking them with primitive shapes first to see where I want everything, and then find out how I can cut and stitch in Blender, or what the best method would be. Because the tools is the biggest hang up for me right now.
Cool. No, I think that's a great approach.
So that's my plan. So that's it. I'm pretty easy this week. Hopefully I'll have a lot more to show. Hopefully I will have the full finished product. But I'm excited to actually have those be their own standalone episodes on my channel. I'm just showing my struggles through these projects.
Excellent. I think that's awesome. Well, yeah. So, how far? So, like, are you wanting to take it to just the gray model first, and then get it all modeled and meshed, and then do you plan on actually going through the whole texturing process too?
That's a dang good question. You know, I think it would be easy enough for me to just go through the modeling process and put base colors on it. But I think if we're really trying to like learn how to do this stuff, what I should do is create what I really should do is create a high poly version of him. And because he's not that complicated, but then even doing kind of a shrink wrap low poly version and then UV unwrap it. I think that's what I would like to do.
Yeah, sweet.
So I think we'll go with that. We'll do a game res, and then I would love to learn some simple rigging. Maybe we'll have him do a little walk cycle.
That'd be really cool.
So that's the plan, Mike. That's what we're going to do over the next little bit.
Do it. Sweet. Well, that's a good goal for your project over the next few weeks. I think that's going to be pretty good.
All right. Well, I'm excited to see yours. So should we do a share screen?
Sure. Yeah,
right.
I can share my screen. So the first thing that actually, I guess I need to go. Oh, that's that. Let me. There. Okay. So.
Yeah.
So I finished.
So hold on. You're not sharing screen yet. Let's.
No. I know.
Oh, okay. Oh, there you are. Sweet. Yeah. Perfect. Okay. Let me get you in here.
So, just to preface this is the finale of my last project. I got it textured, I got it rendered. I'm gonna just play. This is the turnaround of my fire hydrant. This was all done in Blender, the high poly to low poly, and then I got it unwrapped with a different program, and then got it textured in Substance, and then I got rendered in Marmoset. My next project, which I'm going to kind of show off what I've done so far, I'm at like the blocking out stage, but that is going to be obviously modeled within Blender and modeled, textured, unwrapped, and rendered all in Blender.
Yeah.
Again, I'm a noob, but so I wanted to make sure I got at least the modeling portion completely figured out and done. And then I wanted a presentation. So I got this little fire hydrant completed. I did actually some rework of the textures since last time, dial them down so that I could actually, just get some of the, sometimes you got to bring things too far and then you got to dial them back to get them just right. And that's kind of what happened.
That looks fantastic.
Thanks. Yeah, a lot of good stuff. A lot of good stuff. I'm just whatever. It's a fire hydrant, but fun stuff. Like it was fun learning all these things in Blender.
Yeah, no, totally. It's not just a fire hydrant. This is a fantastic fire hydrant.
Thanks. Yeah, and it's nothing too crazy, too complicated, but it helped me go through the entire process, which I liked a lot. Plus, I'm a big fan of using Substance and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So, 3D Mentor, I love hydrants. That doesn't look like Among Us, dude. No, so 3D Mentor, we chose different projects. We're very different people when it comes to what we like to work on. In terms of Gabe from what Gabe has described, he wants smaller, bite-sized. I like these longer form projects, and so I tend to break them up into chunks. And so enough of this thing. My next project, so I was inspired by another Blender. So what I do is I follow the Blender subreddit, and there was been some pretty cool Game Boy, models. And so I decided I'm going to do what my favorite Game Boy that I played with when I was a kid. Like, even though I did have the original, this is the one I spent most of my time on. That's the Game Boy Advance SP. Yeah. So I'm going to do the Game Boy Advance SP, and so what I'm going to do is more of a product render, where I'm going to go through and probably do a little bit of animation. It's almost it's going to be more like an advertisement for the Game Boy Advance SP when it's all done, which is going to be a while from now. But one of the interesting things about Blender is I'm starting to learn a whole different kind of modeling process, which is not what I would have done normally. So I can just kind of show off. This is the very start of it. I started blocking it out with primitives. And so what I ended up doing was just getting the dimensions right. And so I actually got the actual dimensions online, and I changed my scaling in Blender, and then I just started blocking it out and just using some of the tools just to so I put like edge loops in where some of these buttons would be. I started just putting in some basic buttons. So again, just starting out. But one of the things, Gabe, that's really cool about Blender, and it's a different kind of modeling workflow, is I'm going to do a high poly model, but I'm not going to make it to smooth. I'm actually going to use booleans and bevels instead. So it's going to look high poly, but it's going to be as non-destructive as possible while also using like booleans. So
I love it. Are you familiar with creases in Maya?
yeah, So it's a similar, it's a kind of a similar concept, but I'm not actually creasing and then doing some sort of like dynamic subdivision.
Okay.
It's more like I'm using the modifiers like so what I'm going to be doing is doing stuff where I'm actually going to be using like the bevel modifier. That's the cage.
After today, I actually know where that is. I'm so excited.
Yeah, I guess so. I'm going to be using like the bevel modifier, but I'm also going to be using, so in order to really hone in on, because the Game Boy has a bunch of different bevels like across the model, like different amounts of beveling. So I'm going to be using vertex groups, which is really cool. Do you know what a vertex group is, Gabe?
No.
So a vertex group would be the equivalent of like a you can specify vertexes. Well, so I guess they're all vertexes, but you can choose them by face or by edge. But like essentially, like if I wanted to bevel just these 4 edges, but like also keep it non-destructive and just have like a modifier stack. So let's say that this set of edges has a different bevel than like this set of edges. But like I didn't want to go through and just do like a bevel like this, right?
Right.
Like this is a destructive bevel because I can't go back and change it after the fact. I have to redo it. And so what you can do is you can create, so like if you go to the object data, see these vertex groups? I can create one and assign it, and I'm going to name it right face. And then I'm going to go to the other one, and I'm going to like add it. I'm going to assign it. I'm going to call this left face. Okay. Are you with me so far?
I think so, yes.
Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to go to object mode. I'm going to go to the bevel modifier. And then currently the limit method is on none, but I'm going to go to vertex group instead. And then I'm actually going to choose the vertex group. And you can see now it's isolated to one face.
Oh, that's cool.
Or to those vertexes. And so now I can change the amount. Let's go with, it's 3, and I can do it by width. Yep, that's the one I wanted. So by width. So let's say that, this had a much higher, and then I'm going to do, can I do Shift D? Oh, I can. That's so cool. And then I'm going to get rid of that. And move the left face. And see, now they're the same, but let's say that I actually needed only 2. So now what's really cool is that this is a non-destructive method in order to do this. And I can go shade smooth, and then I can go to auto smooth. Oh, that looks like crap, but that's because of the auto smooth. So maybe for now I won't do that at all. But that's kind of how I'm going to go about doing a non-destructive workflow for my bevels, while also doing booleans. Oh, 3D mentor. That was a lot of typing to select something. That's true. That's true. But
yeah, I think that was from like 20 minutes ago, but yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. So, the other thing that's really cool that I'm learning about Blender is Booleans, and those are really powerful in Blender. And one of the things that I'm learning, especially while doing, game ready models, is like a high poly model doesn't need to be a subdivided model, because ultimately what you're wanting is the shading information from a quote unquote high poly model to go into like a low poly model, or the shading information just needs to look high poly during your presentation. Would you agree with that?
Absolutely. Yeah, it doesn't matter. It's just the final product that matters, not how it was created, for sure.
Right. And so one of the things that you can do is Blender comes with, again, a lot of built-in like add-ons, and one of them is called Bool Tools. So this is within vanilla Blender. All you gotta do is go to add-ons, look up Bool Tool, and it's there. So let's do a quick Boolean just to show you how powerful it is. So
Yeah.
I'm going to create a mesh. We're going to do a cylinder. So here's what I mean by shading. So this cylinder right now, you can tell that it's faceted. One, because I have the cavity map on, not map, the cavity shading on within, see that it just shows off the facets like a little bit more. But that's also just because I kind of like looking at it. But one of the things that you can do, and we all know this, is like shade smooth and then auto smooth, and it looks high poly. This looks like double or triple the polys that it actually is. So one of the things that you can do is use this. So let's just do scale Z, get that down, go up, and I'm going to isolate it. Go to edit mode. We're going to scale Shift Z just to do this. Sometimes, sorry, sometimes it just is like so sensitive. Okay. And then we're going to go up like this, and then I'm going to bevel it. Okay. And then I'm actually going to give it just some more rings. And then I'm going to, okay. So let's say that like I wanted to actually have this be something that is within this object right here.
Right.
So there's some shortcuts I'm going to use, but you can actually simply create a, actually let's do this. I'm going to bring this down.
And so is the reason for not going true high poly modeling, that's so you don't have conflicts with the geometry, right?
Yeah, and there's obviously cleanup because what you can do is you can you know, you can like collapse the modifiers and actually get these going, and then like fix up some of the shading issues, because you will have shading issues. But in terms of fixing it up, it becomes much faster. So you do want to kind of plan for having Booleans, because right now Blender is actually behind the scenes tessellating this, right? It's actually drawing tessellations to certain areas. But right now it's doing a good job because this is a flat section.
Yeah, it looks fantastic.
Yeah, and so what's really cool though is that so this is what we call like a cutter like object, but right now it's non-destructive. So if I went to this object, you can see that I have my bevel, but then I like have this Bool tool cylinder, and it has like, you know, what I ended up doing for the Boolean. But what's really cool is that it's non-destructive, so I can move it around.
So I was going to say, so it's just kind of projecting it.
Right. But it's really, really cool. And so like if I did, you know, scale on the Z, oh geez, come on. Let's like if I wanted to flatten it out and then bring it up.
Yeah, that's awesome. So you could do that. You just do a like a rectangular version for the entire screen inset and all that stuff.
Yeah, so like if I wanted to then do, let's just do a cube this time, and scale, not Z, scale X, and then rotate 90 degrees. Oops. So now what's really cool about this though is let's say that actually I'm going to change the scale. Okay. So this cutter now is going into here, right?
Mm-hmm.
But let's say I wanted to add some bubbles to that, then that's easy. I just go into the edit mode within the cutter object. Actually, let's just do this. And I'll do Control B. And then
No, that's awesome. That's fancy.
Yeah.
And that's a Game Boy. That's perfect.
Yeah, that is the Game Boy.
No, that's very cool.
But see, the shading though is really good.
No, it looks great. So 3D Mentor Commons is basically functioning like the live booleans in ZBrush.
That's exactly what it is, except for yes, like it is the live booleans, and they are pretty powerful and pretty strong, just like they are in ZBrush. The one thing though is that I think with ZBrush, I'm not sure if stable is the right word, but there's probably less cleanup because once you run the live boolean, it does a really good job of with like keeping the shading, but it does make it super high poly, and so you would have to bring that in and do like a remesh. Whereas this can actually, you can have it look like that and then collapse certain parts of it and then do some meshing, but you can still keep it pretty low poly and not have it be crazy.
Right.
But then also, you're also like one of these programs instead of ZBrush, because I know that sometimes ZBrush is a little bit hard to use just in general with that kind of stuff. So, but that's exactly it.
Well, I am excited. I'm excited to see this this Game Boy Advance.
Yeah, so I'm going to try and make it as detailed as possible with all the nooks and all that kind of stuff, and then I'm going to render it out. But one of the things that I've been learning a lot is this, modeling workflow. It's more, I guess, systematic while like also being free form. Like you can, like with these bevels, you can really be specific, which I like a lot, while also being non-destructive. But then also having this workflow that's very, it's sketchy in a way. This would be a really good way to sketch some things out, in terms of like
Right.
just getting a quick model to be like, oh yeah, okay, that form works, while also, getting you really cool high poly results, looking results.
Yeah, I can already see how it kind of would. I could see it speeding up my process on a lot of things. Now, what if you were working in high poly and you wanted to like bake those out? Is that a painstaking process? Like, what if you wanted to, convert this all into just one solid object?
Yeah, so we can. So what you would want to do? So let's do that. So I'm going to do that one. Do that one. Okay. So the bevels are there. Okay, I've just baked those in. Let's do this one right here. Sweet. Okay, so I can get rid of that.
Nice. Okay.
So that's still good. So that can be baked in right now, like
Yeah.
this one right here. And then let's do this last one right here. There it is. It's good.
Very cool. What is the, just curious, what does the geometry look like? Is it a wireframe on it? Okay. So it's just as simple as possible.
Yep. And so you may run into, so here's where you may run into some areas, and this is more of a finishing technique, is beveling these edges like for like a second time. So what you may need to do, so beveling takes up space, right? So like, I may need to like move that over here. There's probably gonna be like an issue right here, but let me just see if I can't bevel this edge, and this is where like the tweaking would need to happen.
Right.
But like if I wanted just to soften this edge right here,
I wonder if
See that?
Blender has like any kind of like auto cleanup type of a thing.
here we go. See, like I was able to soften that edge and
Yeah.
still maintain my shading, but you can tell that I was starting to get some weirdness because like I may need to like depending on how far that bevel goes, I would need to move some verts around. See how this one right here does some weird things? But the shading's fine. So it, you know, it looks just fine.
Right. No, that's awesome. That is super cool, Mike.
Yeah, so that's essentially what like I'm trying to do with this Game Boy is I'm going to be doing exactly that, where I'm going through being methodical about it while also just kind of sketching in, you know, these cutters, and then I'll get to the point where it looks really good. And then I'm going to collapse them and then do all that kind of stuff. So
That's awesome.
It's a pretty cool workflow.
So once again, Mike has showed me up, and I am okay with that. I'm super impressed. I'm excited. Looking forward to getting more into these tools as we progress.
So 3D, yeah, I think it's awesome. 3 minutes has basic functions like light bleeding. Yes, it does. It bakes the same. Just use as many bevel segments that you would normal have after 2 subdivisions. Yep. So instead of 3 edge bevel, you would like 6 or 8. Most seem to be easy for kit bashing stuff. Yeah. That's yeah. So did you and 3D Mentor, did you guys work together?
The 3D Mentor, we work together now, actually.
Oh, cool.
So he teaches a lot of environment art and 3D classes of the U. So he's a little bit more on the art side than I am. I'm more on the design side, but we both teach a lot of the same kind of stuff.
Oh, cool.
So, but you can find him at 3D Mentor, his Twitch channel, and he streams about 24 hours a day, I think.
Nice.
Yeah.
And that's just, does he stream just modeling?
Yeah,
Or...
well, not just modeling, Mike. Premiere modeling.
I mean, does he stream just art, I meant?
Yeah, he's primarily just art. Yeah, I think the true variety streamers, you have to throw in some Mario Maker too. So if you want to be elite. I'm joking. It's late. So Mike, what's your stretch goal this week? How far do you want to get on this?
I would like to get where I've kind of gotten most of the like elements blocked out. Like let me see, this obviously is not what it's going to be, but most of these items where like I've gotten most of the buttons, most of the cutters, put most of the stuff on the face, and then maybe planned out you know, these side panels and stuff like that. I'm probably gonna be pretty slow with it because I'm trying to be precise as well. Like precise meaning be really accurate to the Game Boy, but I would like to get it mostly, you know, mostly blocked out.
Have you decided what game you're going to put on the screen?
Well, I was thinking Mega Man.
Nice. Well, I'm super excited, Mike. This has been a really fun episode for me. I love doing these every week, but the fact that I finally like kind of bit the bullet and started means there's no stopping me now, and I'm pretty excited to see your progress on this. I'm pretty excited. By next week, I want to have my little Among Us character at least like have a base texture pass on his high poly. To show that off as we move on. Like I said, I love these long form projects you work on. I think that's something you and 3D Mentor actually have in common. He's been modeling a pretty sick guitar for the past couple months, I think. I think you should check it out. I think you'd be impressed.
Oh, I'm sure I would be.
It's a melting face guitar.
Yeah. One of my first projects when I finished college was doing a 5-string a 5-string Warwick bass. Did that. So
I remember that one. Well, all right, Mike. I think we better sum things up. I've gotta get the kids to bed. But
sounds good, my dude.
This has been an awesome episode. I think we're on the schedule for next Saturday. Little housekeeping. Is this time good for you, or is that?
No, this time works for me on Saturdays.
Okay.
It actually works out pretty good because during the day I've gotten some time to think more about. But like I worked on, some things quite a bit like this today. I was doing some practice work. This I was just doing like a tutorial.
Oh, that's rad.
So this is again something that was from another YouTuber, but I learned a lot of stuff with Booleans and a whole bunch of just interesting things to do. So I did this today so that I could really get my head around having to do the Game Boy.
Oh, you rock, dude. You're doing your homework. I am so impressed. This is what separates the noobs from the elites, man. So that's awesome.
Just basic interesting modeling things, and it's been a lot of fun, and it's kind of re-peaked a lot of interesting hard surface stuff for me because I've been doing characters like in my off time, and now I'm kind of getting back into the environment and the asset work.
Well, let's hop off the screen share. Let's say goodbye to our audience, and this has been a great episode. For those of you interested in keeping up on this, we will be doing this every Saturday, and we are the Blender Noob podcast. Or God, you know what? Luckily, I have an editor to cut out, so when I say stupid things like that, but curated for YouTube. But they'll all be on our channel on YouTube. Make sure if you like this stuff, hit like and subscribe. Watch a couple minutes. The YouTube algorithms likes that. Actually, I hear that the algorithms actually prefers a like than a subscribe because that actually shows like interest in the content rather than just a sub. But we'll take what we can get.
Totally, yeah. It's like a second level engagement, I guess.
Yeah. All right, thank you everybody for sticking around. This has been a lot of fun for everyone on Twitch. I think we had 9 or 10 viewers, so a lot of lurkers, but we'll take it. 3D Mentor, thanks for all your chat. It was fun checking out Nick's work, and anybody who wants to show off some of their Blender art, we'd love to show it off on next week.
Awesome. Thank you guys so much. Till next time.